Let's fight. Let's fight. Let's fight. Let's fight. A very good evening to each and every one of you. Wherever you're joining us from tonight, we're happy that you folks are at the tail end of the week with us. Good to have all of you on the live. Karen Mohammed, we see you there, Karen, and we are happy. Nothing short of delighted that Karen is with us. Pace and power, Karen, and all the other folks who are joining us this evening. Share the live, folks. Smash the emoji button for us. Final program, final broadcast for the week. Hope you guys have had a great week. Hope you guys have had an exciting week. Coral Providence, we see you there as well. And the other folks joining us. Pace and power, good folks. Pace. Good to have you folks. Final broadcast for the week. We head into the weekend, folks. Rest, recuperation, refire for this new week. That's part of what we're going to be doing, folks. Refiring for the new week. Don't let anybody steal your joy. Please and thank you. Not this weekend, folks. Not this weekend. Yep. Today is the 15th day of November already. We smack dab in the middle of the month, folks. We are in the middle of it. And we are nothing short of happy and delighted that all of you folks could join us from the very, very many places. Brian and Cecilia, from the very many places you guys are joining us from. Carol Jacobs, Mark and Ingrid, Claire Alexis Charmley, Richmond is here too, Claire Capel and Orvin Dunn, Cook, Elderly Gilbert, and all the other folks joining us this evening. Share the live one time for you folks. We got the fight card set. You know where we go next. Welcome to each and every one of you. Happy that you guys could join us. The PNCR had a press conference today. Was blows left, right, and center. The Alliance for Change had a press conference as well. Was licks on the PPP non-stop, folks. And there is where we begin tonight. There is where we begin. Pace and power. As I said, we are happy, and delighted to have all of you folks with us this evening. Share that live, folks. Share that live. A whole range of issues discussed at that press conference just today, folks. Just today, as I said, with the leader of the opposition, Mr. Aubrey Norton. A lot of things discussed. Take a look, folks, as we head into it. The opener, take a listen. Power, what's happening in the power sector? What's happening with power? He's going to tell us.
Let us highlight the continuing electricity blackouts, as well as the manner in which the government has created several emergency situations in the supply of power through its lack of basic common sense and ability to plan. It is ridiculous for the President, Vice President Jack Dale, Minister Ashley Singh, and GPL management to be talking about emergency power, when studies done by the coalition government since 2018 showed that Guyana would need at least 20 megawatts of new power per annum to keep up with growing demand. Jagdeo contention that the coalition added no generation capacity is false. The records will show that the coalition government installed 63 megawatts of power from 2015 and purchased 46.5 megawatts of additional power in 29, which arrived in Guyana soon after it demitted office. Since then, chaos has ensued under the PPP government. The fact that the government must seek funding for power generation through supplementary budgets say it all. We would recall that in December 2023, the government, in a rush to clean up the mess caused by its incompetence and short-sightedness, purchased 17 third-hand electricity generation sets from Honduras for US 27 million, which it hoped will supply 28 megawatts of power. Guyanese soon learned that the sets were plagued by serious mechanical defects. One doubts whether those sets are performing today as advertised and producing any good value for money. In any case, we in the opposition were already warning back then that the government needed to face reality and move swiftly to install additional power. In April 2024, in typical PPP knee-jerk fashion, The government rented a power ship to supply 36 megawatts, still in itself inflicted emergency mode. The government this week signed a second deal for a power ship for 75 megawatts of energy. This second power ship makes it the third emergency stopgap response in 1 year alone, 2024. From a comparison of the bid amounts of the five companies for this third deal, one can clearly see that the government promptly acted on our early advice. It could have procured almost twice as much power for the money it will pay Car Power Ship for 75 megawatts of power. More so, purchasing our own new generator sets would ensure these assets remain in the country as compared to the power ships which are on 2 year lease. Taken together, the incompetence and tardiness displayed in the procurement of the 17 third-hand generators from Honduras and the two power ships have caused Guyanese billions of dollars in losses and damages. In decent countries, ministers have been fired and government toppled for less. As exhibit number 2 of sheer government incompetence and lack of planning, we need look no further than the number of supplementary budgets tabled in the National Assembly since 2020. And on the other hand, the large number of instances of unspent budgetary allocation and incomplete projects. In 2023 alone, the government tabled several supplementary budgets totaling Guyana 90 billion, or about 10% of its original budget. As we already highlighted above, the fact that the government has to seek funding for power generation through supplementary budget is the most glaring evidence of a lack of planning. In addition, some have noted that the picture of the contractors noted the dominance of one ethnic group and confirms what we have been saying. The meeting this Tuesday with President Ali and government ministers, permanent secretaries, engineers, and contractors also exposed to the fullest the extent of government's ineptitude in planning and managing. The PPP is not a government interested in improving policies, strategies, practices, processes, systems, institutions, skills, and work styles. This is a government more interested in political intimidation, domination, corruption, and cronyism. Let's
All right, welcome back. And that's some of what came out of the PNCR. The tail end of the week. Power supply. Oh, they're doing such a poor job. They got to do a 5:30 with GPL. They got to do a 5:30 with GPL. We're going to take nothing less, folks. A 5:30. Yep, they must do a 5:30 with GPL. And you heard there the leader of the opposition, leader of the PNCR, laying out some of the issues there for us. Sandra Ford and Jamal Aziz and Donna Miller and all the other folks who are joining us. Delighted and happy to have all of you. The AG, of course, on the car tonight. Quindon Bacchus, you all remember him? He's on the car tonight as well. God rest the dead. God rest the dead. Is that money justice? We'll talk a little bit about that. And as I said, the Alliance for Change felt some lashes too on the PPP today. And then we talk a little bit about some of what's happening in the region. Mission accomplished. CARICOM said on Haiti. Is it? Is it? Is it? As we're coming on this evening, folks, as we're coming on tonight, lots happening. Lots happening. Why don't we start there? Why don't we start there? Yep. Apologies there. Sometimes the graphics in. But let's take what we got and wait for what we want. Exxon, they tell us in Texas. Remember, we're talking locally about how businesses are closing, falling. On paper, the economy thriving, fastest growing economy. On paper, everything nice. But in reality, Exxon Mobil in Texas, they say, laying off a lot of the workers, about 400 workers, they tell us. Yep, Exxon Mobil, Texas, Please and thank you. Is what we're looking at. Yep, it's what's going down. It's part of what we're seeing. 400 workers, and a lot of folks, the pundits, are asking, I'm doing some stuff on the international market right now. Marlon Lorimer, a lot of folks are asking some of that might come locally. You see Exxon and the sector start laying off. So I don't know. We don't know. We saw a lot of businesses falling. We saw a lot of business over the past 3 months locking up and saying everything's not working out. So this is one of the things we're following this evening. Gail Alicock, Irwin Dunn, and Everil, Andrew, Gail, and Dolores. We see you guys on the live tonight, and we're privileged to have all of you. So that's one of the things we're looking at, folks. Look what's happening here in Haiti. My Lord, the folks there having the time of their lives. Believe it or not, they're having the time of their lives there in Haiti. The gangs taking more and more territory. Might not have anything left quite soon. Watch and see. We have the impression, folks. You see that same fella named Barbecue who controls most of the gangs there? You see that same fella? He might become the next prime minister. Watch what we're telling you. Watch what we're telling you. You remember this? When CARICOM declared that mission accomplished in Haiti? You all remember this moment?
And we thank this region, CARICOM, I think, once again, for those, for those who question the relevance of CARICOM, once again, CARICOM has delivered and delivered well for the people of this region and kept our region as a zone of peace. Thank you.
Yep. Well, Haiti not looking so peaceful this evening, folks. They're telling us that the gangs there in Haiti are taking more and more pressure, and more territory as pressure mounts on this new prime minister. That in about 6 months, 3 prime ministers in Haiti, all installed by CARICOM. They can't blame the U.S., right? And now the pressures upping on this transitional council to produce the goods. Can't just want to work high positions on. You actually have to do something, right, Irfan? It's a lot of pressure. And that was Irfan pronouncing and things in Haiti when he was chairman of CARICOM. That's March this year, Believe it or not, that is March this year. And folks, we're looking here at the current Haitian Prime Minister, Mr. Alex Ami, the new, recently sworn in, less than a week ago. Does he have longevity in him? They're telling us, folks, the gang had already been occupying about 90% of Haiti. And they said they're taking now more and more and more territory. It's something we're watching, folks. It's something we're watching. You head to bed tonight, you kneel down on your knees. Please and thank you. Let's say a prayer for Haiti. Let's say a prayer for Haiti. While we're on that, folks, we draw closer to home. We come in for landing, folks. Look what's happening in Region 5. Look what's happening in Region 5. If we're going to do a 5:30 with the NDC, Region 5, please and tell you got to do a 5:30 with the Minister of Agriculture. There is flooding, folks, in Region 5 at an area called Calcutta and some adjacent allied areas, but Calcutta is taking the brunt of it. They're saying spring tide and high tide has caused one of the sluice doors to collapse. But you don't check these things. They don't go and test Airfund. You got to do a 5:30 here. Airfund, please and thank you. Rock and come in. Rock and come in. Yep. Rock and come in. Calcutta. Folks, this is some of what we saw in Calcutta just this evening. And we had also our Member of Parliament, Vince Roy Jordan, on the ground there. Take a look and take a listen. Rock and come in. Airfund, 5:30. Rock and come in. 5:30 in Calcutta.
in Calcutta here, and the water for the past 2 hours or so has risen to this level already. We see persons being flooded. We're going into this home. Ooh, all right. This is as a result of the incompetence of this administration. I'm walking in the home. Oh goodness, this is the home. Where is the you living downstairs? Oh, whoa. So I'm in the home of one resident here in Calcutta, Maikoni, the Wilsons, Lauren Wilson, and this is the situation. Let's see if I can get the light on. This is yeah. No, I'm trying to get my phone light. My my all right. Yeah, I get it now. So this is the bedroom, and if we notice, the water is almost covering the bed, and it has just begun, just started. The incompetence, the superintendent said he would have spoken to them several times to get the look at this. Look at the water rushing into the home. This is the kitchen. The main switch has been turned off. Look at the water rushing into the resident's home. This is the situation here. We're in Maikoni, Calcutta. Just about a few hours ago, the sluice gave way, and in less than 2 hours, this is the situation here. The vehicle is almost underwater there. Start to get covered. Look at it. Look at the chickens, the pens, everything underwater. Just about 2 hours, a sluice gave way. The incompetent PPP government could be, they had enough time, money, and all the resources at their hands. Zulfikar Mustafa and the entire team, a pack of incompetent people at NDIA. Look at this yard. I haven't gone. It's an entire stretch. Look at this home. The family counting their losses. The entire house rather, underwater. Look at the water rushing. Look at how it is rushing into the house. This is the situation here at Calcutta, Maikoni. We understand also that Dundee, Novar, and several other villages are experiencing the same because of the sluice that just gave way.
Yep. That is the area there. They said that is the Abari, the Abari sluice door. The Abari sluice door that has collapsed, according to the authorities. You know, you got to take them with a pinch of salt. They said this door collapsed under the pressure of spring tides. You see the damage there? Let me get a little compensation, or we just get them a little bleach and little soap powder and so on and say, come in the morning. Come in a week's time. And the authorities is supposed to be testing those doors, keep monitoring. What's happening in this place? You got to do a 5:30 there, Irfan. We got to do a 5:30 there. Calcutta, folks. Some of what we're seeing, Calcutta. While we're in that, you know, the murders going up in this country. You had over 100 murders for this year. Did you guys know that? For 2024 already, you had 100. They said we have a mixed crime trend. And even with 100 murders, they said murders down. Robberies, sexual offenses up. That's part of what they're saying. This is according to Crime Chief Wendell Blanham, highlighted recently mixed crime trends for 2024. And this was at the launch of the Ghana Police Force's Christmas policing strategy. They were rolling out these numbers. You know, I heard Cameron Tramdathan, I think this afternoon, talked a little bit about how the fiddling with these numbers. I did tell you the lines would change. Had a press conference today, fiddling with those numbers. You know, thankfully we got some stats. A lot of areas not covered. And you know, for instance, Paul Sloan, Clinton Conway have been very outspoken about what constitutes serious crimes, for instance. So we're looking at that too. As I did tell you, the Lines for Change had a press conference today. Look at some of what came out of that press conference just today. Take a look.
Pay them so little that they can't help but realize it is not only acceptable but necessary for them to be corrupt.
We've been in a mental health epidemic for quite a while now. And I want to say it's welcoming that they're acknowledging the fact that this is actually an issue.
The Honorable Chief Justice has just awarded the sum of $1.2 million plus costs in the sum of $250,000 to Mr. David Patterson for the authorities wrongfully stopping him from leaving the country.
The government doesn't seem to address the elephant in the room, which is stigma.
It is completely unacceptable that we are now almost to the end of November and we still have not got any definitive word on the date for the release of the census. All this does is lead to unnecessary speculation and anxiety.
We're number 2 in the world for self-harm or suicide. We don't have data on depression, anxiety, hopelessness, trauma.
As far as we know, humiliation is not an effective management tool. Neither is it a basis upon which one can terminate contractual relations between any party.
This here is the epitome of foolishness and disingenuousness. This is the same Nandalal, along with his president and vice president, who were shouting from the rooftops that this contract, they will renegotiate this contract.
The AFC notes that the PPP government is on a path towards the covering up of the massive corruption in the Ghana Police Force.
Practicality of prosecuting anything over 10, 15 charges, non-existent. When are you going to do 241 charges?
Yep. Welcome back, folks. Some highlights for you there. Some of what came out of the Alliance for Change press conference today. Again, some focus given to the Ghana Police Force and what's happening there, asking for an independent investigation to be able to probe some of these controversies, well, all of them that we've heard coming out of the Guyana Police Force in of recent vintage. So we're watching that, folks, and as we run the crime chief, might as well we stay in the Guyana Police Force because there was a terrible accident, folks, at number 71 Village Upper Quarantine, Babis, just yesterday, I think it was, early, Thursday night, last evening. And they said this one here is a little chilling because this 41-year-old Zaman Ali lost his life in number, again, as I said, the accident happened in number 71 Village Upper Quarantine, died in this crash as his vehicle came into contact with a utility pole there. But what is interesting here, they tell us that his sister died in similar fashion in 2017. And if you didn't think that was strange, his father also died a few years earlier in similar fashion too. I don't want to say it. It is what it is, folks. It is what it is. Our thoughts and prayers with the Ali. Our thoughts and prayers with them. This has been a family wrapped in grief. The father died in an accident. His sister died in an accident, folks. Yep. That's some of what's happening that side. Slow down on the roadway. Slow down. And let me arrive alive. Please and thank you. All of you, wherever you're joining us from tonight, all 2,000 of you, 24 minutes into our broadcast. Marlon Thomas, good to see you on the live. Slow down. And let me arrive alive, folks. And those were some other stats as well. We heard out of the police force what's happening on the road among the cars on the road, motorcycle, who is causing these accidents on the roadways. All of that coming out of the launch of the police Christmas patrol strategy session that happened quite recently. Take a look, take a listen.
Senior Superintendent Mahendra Singh has detailed the days of the week and the time of the day when traffic accidents are most likely to happen.
The most notable span, that from 12 noon to midnight for fatal accidents and across the entirety of the clock for all categories of accidents. Mondays and Tuesdays are noticed for 2024 with 12 fatal accidents, and Fridays and Saturdays for 21 each.
He said that speeding accounts for most of the accidents this year. This is complemented by inattentiveness,
The use of a cellular phone, or maybe a child who is not harnessed properly in the rear seat of a motor vehicle. Or the vulnerable category of road users who lost their lives comparatively, when you look at motorcyclists. For last year, 48 of them lost their lives, compared to this year, 41.
26 pedestrians died on the roads this year, he said. 8 pedal cyclists also died.
Private motor cars continue to be the dominant ones, with 55 last year, but a reduction 45 this year. Motorcycles, 16 last year, 12 this year, and motor lorries not being left out, 24 last year and 22 this year. This is specifically to fatal accidents.
He said that there are more than 116,000 registered vehicles on the roads.
You have 14,681 motor cars registered in use. Motorcycles, 7,774. Motor lorries, 3,507. An electric cycle, 1,694. A minibus, 1,274. And a 4x4 pickup, 1,356.
More than 7,000 motorcyclists have been registered this year.
Motor lorries registration, it has tripled. In fact, for the past 2 years, it is above 3,000. Owing to what? The transformational activities taking place across the sectors, the impact of the current volumes of vehicle and type of vehicular traffic across our country, it significantly affects the life of a road, as depreciation of such roads leads to 1. Slow traffic, 2. Interrupted traffic flows, with accidents frequently occurring owing to 1. An errant action, or the driver not being acquainted with the road design.
He said that the ratio of traffic ranks to motor vehicles remain unbalanced. Senior Superintendent Mahendra
Thoughts and prayers with all those we've lost. All those we lost, our thoughts and prayers. Slow down on the roadways. And you heard those stats. We can't be proud of them. And the poet said, every man's death diminishes me. That's Don John. Great poet. If even one person died from road accident, we got to be concerned about that. Every man's death. Dwayne Collins, Gail and Kim Walker. Thoughts and prayers with all those who've gone on before us. Our thoughts and our prayers. Bernadette Duncan, we see you there, and Gail and Irwin and Donna Miller, Marlon Thomas. Good to see all of you. We did tell you, wonderful folks, that the leader of the opposition, the leader of the People's National Congress Reform, held a press conference today, and a whole swath of issues he dealt with in that press conference. We opened with what he said on the power sector. A lot of foolishness happening, a lot of money being stolen, a lot of money being wasted, folks, because of this adhocracy we call the PPP in this country. So we're watching that, folks. We're watching that. And one of the things that came up in this press conference, you and I have been at it for a little while. You all remember impersonations that happened in the 2020 elections? APNU AFC compiled a list of names, persons who were either dead, miraculously voted, persons who were supposed to be out of the jurisdiction and apparently voted. You remember that? Not only that, those names were sent to the chief immigration officer, who is also the commissioner of police, who confirmed it. Confirmed. Right? Well, the AG, Anil Nandlal, you got to get a 530 with him, he wasn't believing it. And when they came into government, albeit they were installed when they came into government, he queried it. He collected the names from GCOM. Is he going to check himself? He is going to check this himself. Folks, that was 2 years ago. Bernadette, Essequibo, Sandra, that was 2 years ago. The folks from GCOM have not heard from him since. They have not heard from him. And so now questions are being asked. Questions are being asked. And that is one of the things that Mr. Norton spoke about just today. Folks, because we've been on a 2-year wait. Like the people waiting for the cash grant, a 2-year wait. Take a look.
Today, Friday, opposition leader Aubrey Norton recalled that 2 years ago, Attorney General Anil Nandlal had written to the Guyana Elections Commission for information relating to voter impersonation. The APNU AFC had presented to GCOM a list of dead persons for whom others had voted. It also presented a list of several hundreds of persons who purportedly voted at the 2020 elections when immigration records confirmed that the persons who voted weren't in Guyana at the time.
AG Nandlal is on public record as guaranteeing that, I quote, "Once I receive the documents, I will pass them on to the relevant agencies with the request that an investigation be launched to verify the accuracy or lack thereof of the information contained in those documents," unquote.
Norton told the press conference today that the AG had vowed that if any laws were violated, they would be enforced by the relevant law enforcement agencies. Further, he said if there is evidence to bring criminal charges, those charges will be instituted.
Over 2 years have now elapsed. The AG has since gone totally silent on the matter. Why the convenient silence? Why the attempts to bury the matter? We call on him to report to the Guyanese people whether, one, he did submit the APNU AFC documents to the relevant government agencies for verification, and two, what are the formal responses of those agencies?
Norton said that 2 years is more than enough for the documents to be analyzed.
We in the PNCR/APNU are unshaken in our belief that voter impersonation and identity theft were rampant at the 2020 elections to benefit the PPP.
He said that even though the Guyana Elections Commission and the Attorney General seem to stifle the findings, his party is continuing its campaign for a new voters list
and fingerprint biometrics to be introduced in time for the next general and regional elections. Guyanese demand and deserve no less.
Yep, welcome back, folks. We are unshaken in our beliefs. It's true. Lodge don't dodge. You gotta get spine and backbone in this business, you know, Dominic. Spine and backbone. Couple of us missing. Missing a couple of us. As I said, the Alliance for Change had the press conference as well. And it seems as though they're tag teaming on this issue because the leader of the Alliance for Change, Nigel Hughes, raises very issue as well. Raise the issue of biometrics. Why biometrics is so critical? Anil. Tell you, I'll miss Amna. Anil. Amna will do 5:30 on Anil. Anil. You know, she got that voice there. Anil. Straight up his spine, you know. The name calling. Why your name calling, Mark? Your name calling. Do. The name calling. Anil. Leader of Lines for Change. Leader of Lines for Change. Nigel Hughes. On the list. What happened to the list, Anil? What happened to the list? Tuesdays come, Tuesdays go. The man with the show. He ain't talking no more. But what happened with the list? You remember back in the day, You had a circle like that. People that walk up on that list though. Sherrod name on the list. Longer name on the list. Yeah, I think I bought yesterday, you know. Welcome to the list, Sanil. Welcome to the list.
I want to also touch on the fact that you may recall during 2020, the chairman of GCOM, Madam Justice Claudette Singh, wrote to the Commissioner of Police about names that one of the political parties had provided to her of persons who were recorded as having voted at various polling stations, but were supposedly out of the country. She wrote to the Commissioner of Police, and the Commissioner of Police responded and provided her with the list of names of persons who were recorded as voting, but who had left Guyana, and there was no record of their return. The reason we raise this is because we would like to know whether GCOM has specifically addressed the loophole that would have facilitated people who were not in the country being recorded as voting. Unless they have addressed this, this is another area for concern in relation to the operations of GCOM. And I just would like to take the opportunity to remind all of us that GCOM, not the political parties, GCOM is responsible for delivering a credible election to the people of Guyana. And they have been failing in this regard consistently. Almost every election there is an issue. As we're on GCOM, I'd like to talk a little bit also about the issue of biometrics. We understand that the Commission has had 2 meetings on biometrics, and it will meet again next week, Tuesday, on biometrics. And it is our hope that they appreciate the singular importance of the issue of biometrics, both at the time of registration, and we know that they already have, captured the fingerprints of all the registrants, but more importantly, the effective and efficient implementation of biometrics on the date of voting, so that we can ensure that the persons who attend to vote are indeed the persons on the register. And that, of course, would go a substantial way in reducing the number of people who may attempt to vote more than once.
That's some of what was discussed, folks. You know, we got to spend a whole night just interrogating, bro. Anil? A whole night. You see, when they start talking about the international observers and what they say, they talk half and left half, you know. They talk half and left half. When you interrogate what CARICOM said, you interrogate what the Americans, the British, the EU had a report as well, the Carter Center, and Americans would capture that. What they said, we didn't touch half of it. Reform GCOM structure to improve, increase independence and effectiveness and professionalism was one of the things recommended. You see that happen yet? That was just one of the recommendations. That happened yet. We're still waiting. Overhaul the composition and functioning of GCOM to ensure more inclusive representation. Have they done that? Amend the method of appointing GCOM commissioners to ensure GCOM's independence and reduce politicization. Have we done it as yet? Ensure greater gender representation. Far from it. Make GCOM's decision making more transparent. In the last 4 years, we see Claudette 3 times. Total reform of GCOM recommended to restore public confidence in future elections. Them boys ain't got time with that. Improve the effectiveness of the continuous registration system. Have we done that? Increase transparency and effectiveness by introducing a range of measures such as timely publication of let me make sure I get it right. Timely publication of procedures decisions and other information of public interest. And listen to this, holding regular meetings on electoral issues with key stakeholders. Claudette, your name calling. This is what the reports recommended, overhauling aspects of the electoral laws that we have. We can spend 4 or 5 hours just talking about these issues here. Just talking about it. You think it's one thing wrong in this country? You think it's one thing wrong in this country? You'll be mistaken. You'll be mistaken. As we just showed you there, some of what came out of the PNCR's press conference, the Alliance for Change press conference, folks. The Alliance for Change press conference also talked about who's a pensioner. We heard recently that public servants and pensioners can get this $100,000 cash grant instantaneously announced a month ago. Pensioners. But we heard today, or we were told again, reminded, it's a better term, you got 3 categories of pensioners. 3 categories. Which one we talking about? That issue was raised in the Alliance for Change press conference today. Take a look, take a listen.
Vice President Barra Jaguar said that the $100,000 cash grant rollout would begin with public service and pensioners. Pensioners haven't been defined. Old age pensioners are recognized at 65. NIS pensioners are recognized at 60. Public servants become pensioners at 55. Leader of the Alliance for Change, Nigel Hughes, told the press conference on Friday that before any cash grant rollout, there should be a statutory framework.
I'm assuming now that they're rolling out the program in the absence of a statutory framework, and they say they're starting with pensioners. So that doesn't mean that the rest of the population won't get based on what they said. But again, because there is no statutory framework, they can decide next week that, we're postponing the rest of the population until June or May, simply because there is no statutory framework.
He's of the assumption that some information would be provided.
The lack of clear thinking on this issue. It is, first you say household, overnight, less than 24 hours, you change it to individual. Now you've gone to pensioners. We don't know what sort of pensioners, whether you're talking about 55, 60, or 65. And it just demonstrates the complete lack of any thought, any planning, or any sort of serious attempt to address this issue, and really confirms what we thought it was, which is that this was just a PR exercise.
Hughes said that one can't run a country in the same way one runs a kindergarten school.
You can't do this. All of this had to have been done long before. Your advisors ought to have put in place very specific rules so that when it is rolled out, you don't discover the kinks as you roll it out. All of this should have been done before. And this is just, again, unfortunately, another demonstration that those who are responsible for the management of national affairs clearly don't bring to bear any sort of serious consideration before they announce national measures.
Yeah, that's how that went. This country is backward, Backward with these fellas at the helm. You remember 25-year-old Quindon Bacchus? Fatally shot on June 10th, 2022 by this installed regime. You remember them? You remember the lies they told us about the circumstances surrounding how Quindon Bacchus was shot? They protested when they were taken to court. The lawful killing of young Quindon Bacchus, his whole life ahead of him, a single father, single parent, whole life ahead of him, lie to this nation like when horse trotting, as we say in the vernacular, we say colloquially, lie like when horse trotting, and then quietly, after they saw where the case was going, quietly went and settled. Quietly, $24 million. A lot of folks are saying this should be much, much, much higher. The court ruling that Quindon Bacchus is constitutional rights were violated. Folks, you remember the sick Quinton Bucket had a gun, fired at police officers. Here was a young man shot 5 times in his back, once in his chest, 5 times in his back. The sick Quinton Bucket had a gun. And when they tested the gun that Quinton Bacchus was alleged to have had, the gun they working, and they working for a long time. It was a whole gun somebody plant to see he had a gun. Remember the thing is when he was going to sell a gun to somebody. And then when he was intercepted by police, they wanted us to believe he fired on police. Well, the gun they working. And after things started to go against them, these jagabats, trench crappos, these foxes, they went and settled very quietly. They went and settled quietly. That figure should be twice that amount. $24 million they settled for. 24. You think justice has been done? Ladies and gentlemen, you think justice has been done? Think justice has been done? That's why we got to vote them out next year. You got to vote them out. Make sure you're on the list. You got your ID card and so on. Not just to collect money. Make sure your name on the list. It's Friday night, so let's take you out, folks, on a light note. Let's take you out on a light note. Recently, they had an all girls, more power to our women, an all-female crew, they tell us, of, I think it's Liat, into Caribbean. Apologies there. Into Caribbean had achieved this milestone of having an all-female crew. So this is the first time in the history of the airline, Into Caribbean operated a flight crew entirely by women on Thursday, November 14. Just yesterday, folks. Entirely of women. Women taking over, and rightfully so. Rightfully so. This country could go much better. And more women at the top. So more women in decision making at GCOM, gender balance. They're listening. So we want to say congrats to the girls. Congrats, congrats. Continue to break the glass ceilings all around. Continue, folks. Continue to broke it up. Broke up the glass ceiling. Good to have had all of you here with us all week. Folks, next week we can go into some more about celebrating our 4th anniversary. Folks, you think it's been easy? When we started 4 years ago, I didn't know on a Friday night like this, on a 15th like this in November, we'd still be here. And some of you thought to be long gone too. Some of you, but we right here, Dominique. We right here. We going nowhere. I doing a set of mischief. And out here stand up and think we going somewhere. We going no place. We the right here stand up. Leonard Jacobs, Karen. When I got another Rasta can take me place. Ja! Rastafari. Audrey, Donna, Brian, Susan, Eva, Carrie, Perry. Thanks for being here with us, folks. And those of you who've been with us for the last 4 years, y'all can take torture. Y'all can take torture. Y'all have seen all sides of us. Please and thank you. Y'all have seen all sides of us. Turn the bell down a little bit. As we go into our fifth year, we can turn down the bell a little bit so the spouses and vex with us. Tell I read a married lady by the ATM. I ain't telling you. Some of my hobbies watch you every night. Much to my frustration. Loud. Loud. I said, tell him hello. Listen, I ain't telling you nothing. Folks, it's been our privilege being here with all of you. Have a fantastic weekend. Put in some exercise. Get in some rest, definitely. Spend some time with your loved ones. You know, take a little break from politics over the weekend. It's wayful. See you guys in the next one. Have a fantastic rest of the evening, folks. That's we time. That's our program. Pull it back there for you. That's our time, folks. And that's our program. Pull it back a little longer. All right, we're going to see you guys in the next one. Have a great weekend. Fire it up.